Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how are you?
Hello, I'm here.
You're here, yes. I too am also here.
I don't
Oh
know.
my,
I'm on my second cup of coffee, so I'm about to be bouncing off the walls in a minute.
I would imagine so. I would imagine so. So, how'd the rest of your week go?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I
It was
hear
a
you.
rough one. It was a rough one, but hey,
My week has been
new
pretty,
week coming up, so
yeah, my week has been pretty rough too. So I'm kind of glad it came to an end. But like, even then, I'm still stressed out because I have all this research I gotta do, and it's kind of killing me. So yay, what can you say?
I mean, if you need help finishing the killing part, I can help you.
I'm sure you totally
Triangle.
could. Totally could help me with that. But speaking of killing things, we're jumping in today's topic, which is going to be a kind of interesting topic and does tie into killing things. Things that were supposed to ruin society. That's our topic. Things that were
Kill
supposed to ruin
society.
society. So, Roxy, growing up, do you remember people kind of like, oh my God, this is just going to kill society or ruin society?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember there was several things.
What was one of the things that you remember the most?
Let's see. The internet. I don't know why that's the only thing that's popping in my brain right now. The
The internet,
internet and like rock and roll.
rock and roll, those things are
Metal or
both.
something.
Yeah, those things are supposed to destroy
But
society.
damn.
I think the one that will always stick out because I've lived through quite a few of them, but the one that will always stick out for me is Y2K.
Oh
Like
yes,
how
Y2K.
Y2K was going to be the end of the world and everything's just going to collapse on itself technologically wise, and then everything was going to just be destroyed, like planes were going to drop from the
Oh
sky,
yeah.
and all of our information was going to be lost because once it
Everything was
hit,
gonna be cleared out.
yeah, because once it hit uh,
Midnight.
midnight on the turn of January 31st, 2000, yeah,
2012, right? Or was no, it was 2000.
2000, yeah, because that's why
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
that everything was going to reset, and things were just going to be erased because computer, and it really was a stupid thing. So apparently the clocks on computers were not designed to go past 2000. The year 2000.
Nobody thought about that. They were like, ah, we won't make it till then.
Yeah, so that was the panic. Like it wasn't, and because of that, people started spreading these terrible theories and rumors that everything was going to collapse, that computers were going to start, frying out, and all this information is going to be lost, and to keep your copies of your hard files because all these terrible things are going to happen, but that computer systems were just going to fail, and things that
Mhm.
ran on computer systems like airport traffic control and stuff like that, just shit was going to drop from the sky and we're all going to die because of it. And I remember some of the funniest commercials for Y2K came out. I don't know if you remember this, but like,
Mhm.
because Super Bowl comes shortly after, the new year.
Mhm.
Nike had a really great commercial where it's just this guy putting on his shoes and he's going out for a jog, but while he's jogging, everything's blowing up around him, and
I think I vaguely remember
animals
this.
are running loose because the
Like a plane
zoos.
does fall from the sky, right?
Yes,
I think I do
because
remember this.
it was making fun of Y2K and how nothing ended up happening. Because really, it was just a computer program glitch, and they were able to resolve it, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but people lost their ever-loving
They
minds.
did. I remember watching shows where people were like racking up, like maxing out their credit,
Yeah.
buying like furniture and cars and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And they were like, well, the world's gonna end. Who cares? We're not gonna have to worry about it. And the whole time I'm watching those shows, I'm like, these people are idiots. What are they gonna do when the world doesn't end and
Yep.
they owe all this money?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
what are
oh
you
my
gonna
God.
do?
Oh Jesus Christ. That was so
I
fucking
don't,
great.
you know what? We need a show. Whatever happened to? And then Bring
Yeah.
all those people.
What happened to you stupid people? Are you still stupid or did you learn something?
Oh my God.
Oh God. Another thing, so I kind of lived through that. I don't you're younger than me, by a little
Yes, I
bit.
am by a
Just
lot.
just by
No,
a
by a whole lot.
smidge. Like,
At
you're
least a decade and a half.
well, fuck you. Oh my God. What playground did I find you at to be my co-host? A Chuck E. Cheese? What the hell? But no, you psycho. Um, so you were probably a little too young to remember the Cold War or the beginning of
Hmm.
the Cold War. So I lived through a lot of that.
Does
Not
that
the
have to
very
do with the winter?
yes, it's
I'm just kidding.
all
I'm
about
totally joking.
the freezing temperatures at the time. No, that's I
It
know.
just reminded me of this stupid video that I saw. It was
Tell them
so
about that
dumb. I
video.
was like,
That
there's
was
no way these
beyond
people are this
stupid.
stupid.
Oh my, tell them about that.
I saw a video where a guy was reading emails, like real emails that he receives from parents, concerned, air quotes, concerned parents. And one of the parents had written him saying that their child had just gotten home and told them that he was teaching about the Cold War, but never once mentioned how cold it was. I was like, you wait, you can't be serious. Like, did you not learn about it in school? That you couldn't
Uh,
explain it?
for those of you who are
Like,
missing the content clues, like the
oh my
guy's a
gosh.
teacher and I was like, holy crap. Like someone actually thinks it's
A
about
parent
temperature.
actually could not, like, a parent wrote to a teacher that they were false advertising the Cold War because they never mentioned the cold weather. I, the school is, they're not teaching us shit. Because what?
What? Seriously, seriously. So just for those of you who may not legitimately know what Cold War is because of your age and stuff. So let me give you a really brief synopsis of Cold War. The Cold War happens after World War II. It is the tension that is built between the United States and Russia because Russia is mad that the US developed the bomb before Russia did. Russia was working on the bomb. The US developed it and dropped it before Russia could. And then this becomes really where we're dealing with nuclear arms. And this is where the Cold War tensions start to happen again between the US and the Soviet Union, not so much Russia, but at the time it's called the Soviet Union. And the whole thing is who could develop more nuclear weapons and all this good stuff. It was crazy. It really was. We also had the space race going on. Millions of Americans were also paranoid because the Russians had launched Sputnik. And Sputnik was this satellite that went into space that just sent back signals. Um, and Americans were terrified that it's a satellite in space, it's watching us and blah blah blah, and so we end up with Cold War, space race, all these things happening in the period of the Cold War. But the main thing that was happening in the Cold War, and the reason that it's supposed to ruin society, um, one, a lot of big technological breakthroughs happened because of Cold War. The things like, honest to God, the microwave was part of the space race program, all this other good stuff. But no joke, we all thought we were going to die. That was not a joke. We all, like, everyone thought we were going to die because there are two world superpowers, and that was the U.S. and the Soviet Union. And at any time, we could get pissed and just blow each other up, and boom. And that was the honest to God truth. That we were all paranoid about that. Now, the reason it's called Cold War is because the U.S. and the Soviets never fought each other directly, like ever. They had these things called proxy wars, where like Russia was funding another country to become communist that was engaged in war with the US. Like, so that's how we end up with Vietnam and the whole Korea thing and all that. All this was stuff that the US is fighting a war in Vietnam, the US is fighting a war in Korea, and Russia is funding it or sending military supplies, but we don't engage with Russia itself. So it's a proxy war. So all this shit was happening, tensions were building, and we were just honest to God worried we're gonna blow each other up. And movies, all the movies we saw in the 80s were based on this premise of you're going to die in a nuclear fucking explosion or because of
When Russia
technology.
attacks.
Yeah, things like that. Red Dawn was all about that. The other big movie at the time was War Games with a very young guy who played Ferris Bueller, totally escaping my name. His name is escaping me right now. But it
Oh my
was
God, me too. No, Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Baldrick, that's it. So it was all about stuff like that. So it kind of ruined society because a lot of people, I'll never forget this. So a friend of mine was telling me, um, he was a former teacher friend of mine, and he had someone who was related to him. And that guy had decided because we were all going to be blown up and die, he decided he was not going to go to college and became a truck driver because he was like, what was the point? We're going to get blown up and die. So he never chose to like pursue his careers or his dreams because that was the thought. We were going to blow each
Right.
other up and die.
That's it.
but
I'm just
but
like, but what if we don't? That's
yes,
my
and see,
like.
and then of course, and then we had come up with this concept of, and this was created by a guy named Robert McNamara, who is a former U.S. Secretary of Defense. He came up with a policy of MAD. Do you remember Matt or them ever teaching you about it in high school, M.A.D?
No, I
Okay. Matt
vaguely.
is one of these really obscure things, but at the time, it was the thing that kept the US and the Soviets at bay.
Hmm.
And the concept was stood for mutually assured destruction. This is the kind of shit we were on back in the 80s.
Well,
Like,
okay.
so the concept was, let's say a nuclear war broke out and the US and the Soviets launch missiles. Okay, so let's say the US shoots first and hits Russia. I mean,
Hmm.
the Soviet Union. What the policy said is that the Soviets were obligated to attack us back, but they had to have enough weapons in their arsenal to ensure that they destroyed half of the US
Oh,
and
fuck.
vice versa. So we had to make sure that we had enough uh, weapons in our arsenal that if Russia hit us with a nuke, that when we hit them back, that we could at least take out over 50% of the Soviet Union.
Hmm.
And this is what prevented us from killing each other. Is the concept, a really insane concept called mutually
Woo.
assured destruction, which also stood for MAD. Um, and that really kept us at bay. And the world was involved with it too, the UN and everything, because the thing is, it doesn't take that many nuclear bombs going off to start killing off the planet. I'm not saying blow up the planet. It's not going to blow up the planet, but like the toxic nuclear winter is something that goes into the atmosphere and will start killing off the planet. Not just that, like,
Hmm.
oh, it stays over the US or it stays over Russia. No, everyone's dying. We're all going
Hmm.
to die. So, MAD also ensured that the world was going to play nice with each other.
Woo.
So it was some wild fucking times we were living.
Yeah.
But yes, the crazy
Good
fucking
times,
shit.
right? No,
Yeah.
no.
And they want to know why they want to know why Gen X is so fucking mean.
Dude, I swear. There's been so many times we were all supposed to die in my lifetime.
Yes, like
Crazy.
it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, that was one of the wildest things. But let's tone it down a bit. Let's not be so dramatic. Isn't that right, Amar? You want to tone it down? Yeah, okay.
Nah,
Uh,
let's be dramatic. No.
the other thing that was going to ruin society was MTV.
Oh, yes.
MTV, music television, was going
Well,
to ruin
I'm
society.
like, well, The Can't Say.
Yeah. Well, really, MTV just ruined MTV.
No, yeah, it really did with the stupid shows.
Yes, and then the fact that it just stopped playing music at some point.
I miss TRL.
Hmm.
Oh my God, TRL was everything.
Oh my goodness.
I remember trying to get home and make sure I caught that countdown. Like I had to see that every
Yes, like
Friday.
you
Like,
you want to know what were the top 10 because
yes.
back then the internet it wasn't the
Was it
internet
on Fridays? I don't even
the
remember
internet
now.
doesn't come out until the 90s.
Yeah.
So all through the 80s, if you want to know what was the hottest thing in the US, like what's the top song, you had to watch shows that told you like, that came out top USA hits
Or
and
you had to listen to Casey Kasem.
yeah, Casey Kasem had a rate. You could listen to him too, and he had the countdown,
Oh, Casey Kasem.
and MTV had a countdown. They all had any video
Hmm.
show had a countdown that told you what the top 10 hits were in the US. And that's how you knew. Unless you went out and bought a copy of Billboard magazine, you did not know
Hmm.
what the best music was out there. Um, and this is why radio stations were so popular back then, because they kept
There was no
you,
streaming. You
yeah,
had
they
to listen to
kept you
radio.
informed with that. We didn't have all that back then. I could type in top 10 US hit today, and I'm pretty sure I'd have no idea what the hell it was. But
I don't know who
but
any of these people are.
but the internet will tell me immediately. But back then you didn't have that.
Mhm.
So they thought with the MTV came out that that was going to be the ruin of society, and all these markets were going to fail because of it. And the other thing was that, you know, it's expressing cultural pop culture beliefs and stuff like that. We're going to ruin the kids. Like they're going to have it's just the music isn't regulated and the videos aren't regulated. It's like it's going to expose this stuff to our kids and destroy them.
Mhm.
I will never forget, I as a child was part of MTV, kind of like testing.
Mm.
um, so MTV came to Astroworld in Houston, Texas, and I was a kid, and they were pulling people. They had a tent set up, and they were pulling people into it, and they were testing the first video that they were going to play on MTV. So I got to see the first video before it ever aired on MTV,
What
and
video was
that,
it?
huh?
Oh,
Oh, okay, that was um Video Killed the Radio Star by the
mm.
Bugles. I'll never forget. And I remember watching the video, and I really liked the video, but I was there with my mom, and my mom, being my mom, was like, "Okay, you don't like it. You don't like it." I was like, "But I like it." It's of course you do what your mom tells
I
you.
would have been like, I hate it.
Yes, but after we told them that we didn't like it, they actually escorted us out and kept the people who did like it to do further questioning.
Ah,
And I was like, oh, so that really sucked.
no wonder you're
Um,
mad at your mom all the time.
yeah, like she ruined my MTV moment. So that was one thing. But yeah, I grew up part of that, and that like they came to Astroworld and did that, and I was like, wow, like so cool. But it was great. It was great.
MTV News was the greatest thing too.
Huh?
MTV News.
Yes. Oh my God. That's how a lot of people really kept up with news too. Like
Hmm.
people of our age at the
I
time.
swear MTV was like just like on at all times.
Yes.
Like you're just around the house doing stuff. That was like the background noise. And then you hear that do 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 do. You come running. You're like, oh my God, what
Dun,
happened? What
dun,
happened?
dun,
Yeah.
like you were all up on that.
Yeah.
The other thing is that MTV kind of brings us some of the best movies of the
Hmm.
80s too, because MTV's branched out into doing movies, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off was one of their first. And that ushered in the whole, 80s genre teen movie situation. And of course, that was going to ruin society too, because
Yes.
John Hughes was making these movies that were going to rot our brains and make us disrespectful little punks. And it was insane. It really was. Uh, but just all kinds of fun stuff that we got through. Um, Roxy, tell me if you remember this. Roxy, who has seemed to frozen up on me for some reason. I'm just gonna go on until she unfreezes and joins back in. But video games, when video games came out, that was supposed to ruin society too. The concept that, video games were going to rot your brain and all this other good stuff was just a major ordeal at the time. I don't know what happened. I just kept going. I knew you were gonna jump back in. Figured you froze up. But I was jumping into video games and how video games are going to rot our brain.
Oh
Remember
yeah, they
that?
were
Yeah.
supposed to. Well,
Yeah, there you go. True enough.
wait.
That may be like, I know video games have been the ruin of many a relationship though. Ah, so
Yes, they have.
they
I know
really
anytime
have.
a guy's like, "Oh, I play video games," I'm like,
Mm,
mm,
nope, not
mm,
gonna be involved with that.
mm-mm.
But I think I remember, sadly, I remember when the Atari first came out, and I still have the original Atari.
Really?
Yes, I still have the original Atari up in my attic. I do. It was such a trip. But like I'll never forget my dad came home with it, and I didn't know what the hell it was, but I was so excited that he came. He's the Atari, and I was like, "What the
Atari.
fuck is
The
that?"
little
Uh,
stick.
yeah, and you had that. Those things were so hard back then. It's like you
Yeah.
had to develop
It
like
was just like a stick and a button.
yeah, a wrist muscle boom, boom,
Hmm.
boom. But I remember the Atari, but people were saying, "Oh, it's going to ruin society. It's going to ruin your mind and all this other good stuff." But I'm not joking, I owned one of the most valuable games by today's standards. I don't have it anymore, but at one point I did own it, and it is now the coveted Atari ET game
Oh shit.
that had nothing but flaws in that programming. But I once owned that for a moment. And I don't know what the fuck ever happened to that cartridge. But I still have a couple of cartridges. I still think I have the one that came with it, which was Night Driver and some other cartridge. But I have a few Atari cartridges laying around. But yeah,
Man,
that
I
was
haven't played a video game since Sega.
yeah, I haven't I'm not a video game person. I loved it back then, but now it's like
I think I
I
can
got
only play
nothing.
two games on Sega anyways. It was Mortal Kombat and Sonic. I didn't know how to play anything else.
Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
I was good at that. I was real good at that game.
Oh my God. So that video games are going to destroy society. I think it's a trip that if you go back even further, Elvis Presley was going to destroy
Oh,
society.
with his hip
His
thrusting.
his dancing and his
All that
hip
hip
thrusting and
thrusting.
his, you know, being the first, black white guy ever, like that was going to destroy, that was all going to destroy society and the way he made the little girls feel and that was just going to end the world type of situation.
Mm-mm-mm.
Um, needless to say that they weren't totally wrong. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think this was funny too. Harry Potter was going to destroy society. I don't know if you remember that.
Really?
Yeah, because Harry Potter, remember it was
Because
it
of the Mexico?
yes, it was the witchcraft and the wizardry behind it, and it was going to ruin kids and it was going to
Let me take
infect
one guess on
people.
who was starting that
Can't
bullshit.
imagine who started those kind of things.
Wow.
And it was that was going to ruin society as well. But the one thing that has actually ruined society and is on the list, and I'm gonna say accurate as fuck, TikTok. TikTok.
Hey,
No. See, you're the
whoa,
reason.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
You're the reason
whoa,
society is fucked.
whoa,
Yes.
whoa,
TikTok. All you
whoa, whoa,
TikTokers. Yeah.
whoa.
See, the
I need you
denial.
to calm down.
You need to calm the fuck down.
Calm it down,
You
sir.
you
I need
need
you to
to
calm it down.
calm down.
I need you to calm that down.
TikTok has ruined society.
No, it hasn't.
How
Now
many
you really sound like a
conspiracy
boomer.
theories a day do you tell me about, Roxy?
I would have told you about those anyways, because
Yes,
they're all
true.
over YouTube and I find out all kinds of shit. And I like conspiracy theories, so I will
Uh,
continue to bother you with them. Be ready.
every day is a conspiracy theory with this
But it's
woman.
also very informational. I get a lot of news that I wouldn't normally get from the regular news. I do.
Yeah, I'm not frozen. I'm just trying not to say anything.
Yeah, I do. I
So
do.
TikTok has ruined society. That's all I'm going to say.
Like you get on the ground views from people that are right there, shit
Hmm.
that they're not going to tell you in the media. So yeah, I do get a lot of news from there.
So
Hmm.
TikTok's destroying society. But anyway,
No, you're destroying
you're
society.
destroying society, young lady.
I probably am doing my
Ah,
part.
right? She really is. She really is. But yeah, so these are all things that we're supposed to destroy society. And maybe you out there have something we missed. Maybe there's something out there that we miss that you really think has destroyed society or is
Yeah.
going to, or like a historical thing that we totally forgot that you remember growing up.
Mm.
I was going to just, totally ruin the world for us.
Like the birth of Christopher Vara.
Whatever. That saves society.
No.
That single-handedly saves society.
No, I highly doubt that very much.
But if you do have something you'd like to add to our list or something for us to explore next time,
Oh,
please
yeah.
send us that idea to the VCR show at gmail.com or check out our social media sites at the VCR show or our website at the VCRshow.com. And of course, our YouTube channel, the VCR show. And of course, if you want to talk about societal dooms and conspiracy theories,
Oh,
with the
yes.
fabulous Miss Roxy. You can do so at her social medias, which are.
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at Pop Rocks 428, and on TikTok at the Pop Rocks. And Pop Rocks is spelled POPROXX. I was
And as
gonna punch you
always,
in the face, I swear.
I have it all memorized. I hear it so. Uh, oh, God.
Oh
And until
no.
next time, I'm Vada.
And I'm Roxy.
And you've been listening to VCR and my demon like dog who is growling right now, if you can hear it. Please stop, puppy.
I'm ready to punch you in the face. Bye.
Bye bye. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.